There's a lot of debate online. Like if you go on Reddit and so on YouTube, you see a lot of people asking, well, C++ is, oh, I should learn Python. And C++ is very powerful. If I had to choose between two programming languages to learn, Python, C++, I would go with C++. And here are some reasons why. To me, if you're not into data, like data analytics, data science, all this data wrangling stuff, then Python is not for you. You have to know what you enjoy doing. But if you're stuck, then I would say learn C, get a grasp of C, and then go into C++. And you also need to learn a little bit of Linux, and you'll be perfectly fine. Even if you learn C, C++, Linux, you moving over to Python would be way more easier for you. But if you're coming from Python and machine learning and all of these things, and you come over to C, C++, it's going to be so complicated for you. If you're into system application, like system stuff, if you're into app creation, if you're into software development, then you may want to lean on the C++ side of things. Now, I just don't understand when people say Python, if you want to be a software developer, if you want to be game developer, if you want to be a web developer, you just have to learn Python. And it's like, no. Python is just a very small part of the code. For example, if a company makes a game, Python is just a little piece of code, or sometimes no Python at all. So if you want to go into game development, if you want to go into software development, you have to focus on C or C++. Okay, C is closer to the hardware than Python, right? C interacts with the hardware itself. Python is more of assembly type language. So if you want to get deep into writing software for banks and software for different type of companies, fast applications, then you have to go with C or C++, especially C++. When I started school, the first semester, we didn't learn anything about Python till we reached like the third year of school. They didn't teach us anything about Python. From semester 1 to like the fourth semester, the fifth semester, that's when from 1 to the fifth semester, we just went straight hard on C, C++, Linux, C, C++, Linux. And honestly, I'm grateful for the school for doing that, because if we didn't learn C and C++, or if we started off with Python, C and C++ would have been so complicated for the students to pick up. And it's like, even till this day, I try to do a lot of stuff in Python, like see how much I can go far, or how far I can go with Python. And I just went right back to C, C++ on Linux. So if you are not aware where to go, I would say to you, go with C, C++, Linux, and you can just make an easier jump to Python at the end of it. Python have a lot of packages. However, Python is kind of slow. Well, I wouldn't say kind of slow. Python is really slow. And C, C++, because it's closer to the hardware, it's going to be faster, right? Now, the new C++, the modern C++, is actually a little bit better than the older C++. The modern C++ comes with a lot of different enhancement that help with security and help run way more faster. If you want to do programming on the Linux, Unix side of things, you have to know a lot of C, because Linux, Unix, these distributions like Red Hat and Ubuntu, all of these are under the C side of things. So if you want to go towards system programming, networking, sockets, these things are C programs. Sockets in Python is not as powerful as sockets in C or C++, in my opinion. Sockets in C it's a lot more powerful than sockets in Python. right? Python have some good packages that you can use for APIs and stuff like that. But to me, it's really slow. It's really slow. And Python do have a C++ package you can implement in your Python environment. Python, in my opinion, if you want to get into the tech world, into the developer side of things, and you want to be a little bit different, I think the way to go is by learning C or C++. As I said previously, if you want to stick into if you want to learn more about data, if you're on the data side of things like data analytics, then yes, you have to know Python, because Python is very good when it comes to data analytics. Python is very good when it comes to machine learning and AI and stuff like that. So if that's the route that you want to go into, AI data, then of course you have to learn Python. But if you're unaware of where you want to go, I say start off with C and C++. C and C++ is absolutely my favorite programming language. I barely use Python. I learned Python just in case I have to use it, but most of the time, if I want to write out anything, I head straight into C and C++. You can run C codes on different Unix-like system, and that's what I really enjoy, right? You can port your programs around different distribution, right, via POSIX. So I like Linux for that. So learn some Linux if you have the time, because the thing is that a lot of companies, when they are running their program, when they're creating their application, they love to create their apps on Linux. When companies create their application on the Linux kernel or on the Linux system, the application is much more smoother, it's much more faster, right? It's much more stable because Linux is open source, right? So you always have these different distributions that you can work with, and I really enjoy that about Linux. You have Ubuntu, you have Red Hat, you have Fedora, you have a whole bunch of different Linux like distributions that you can work with. So you can write some code on Ubuntu and transfer it over to Red Hat, and that will work, right? So but you, of course, you have to have some little stipulation. You have to use the POSIX standards of things, right? So I enjoy working or learning Linux when it comes to that aspect of things. So if you are unaware where you want to go in computer science or which side you want to go to, if you don't enjoy AI, if you don't enjoy machine learning, and that's with me too. That's why I didn't went to the Python side of things, is because I do not enjoy statistics. I do not enjoy machine learning and all these things. I really, really do not enjoy it. So my thing was, I started with C, then I went with Linux, and from Linux, I started doing a lot of programming on Linux, system programming stuff on Linux using C, and then I just bump up to C++. Now, when you go on some social media platforms, like Reddit especially, I actually saw this comment on Reddit. The person asked, should I learn C first and then go into C++? And everyone was like, some people were like, oh, learn C because it's the mother language and then move up to C++. If you want to learn C++, if you enjoy C++, in my opinion, I don't think there is no reason for you to learn C, right? If you're not going to use C, don't learn C. However, if you're going into Linux, if you enjoy Linux, if you enjoy the freedom of your OS, then I can say learn C, because Linux is mostly C based, right? When you're running problems or code, if you're writing system stuff, then you would use a lot of C. So if you're into system programming, like sockets and stuff like that, then it's C. 100% C. But if you like object-oriented style, when it comes to game development use a lot of C++ codes because it's object-oriented and the threads are really good, right? And when you develop in games, you have to work a lot with threads because you have characters that's moving at the same time. So this is my thought. This is what, this is my opinion on where you should start. If you did learn something, please don't forget, like, subscribe, share. And this is a new channel I created. If you want to check out my other channel where I do teach some C++, and Linux stuff, then you can search Google Nikki in IT, and then you can get my channel from there to learn some code. But this channel, we're just going to talk, kick back, talk a lot about coding, talk a lot about computer programming, and we're going to have fun. So see you in the next video. I was about to say see you in the next tutorial, but see you in the next video.